Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 4th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. It was day 58 in the house, and not much to report. it's The fabled Vince campaign to Ava happened, so we'll talk about that. We'll give a final update on where the votes fall before the eviction tonight, and that's mostly it. But with me to joining me to talk with me about all of it.
All
See,
the things. I'm doing amazing. Very excited to talk about everything. Like you said, not too much went on. I feel like we're getting to that point in the season where there's not a lot of people in the house, so things are just kind of dwindling down. But of course, with these people, there's still so much like messy gameplay happening. So excited to talk about it.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get into it then. Of course, as you know, Keanu is the HOH. Mickey, Ashley, and Vince are on the block. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the campaigning because Ava is the swing vote here if it comes down to Ashley or Vince. If Mickey is on the block, she is going to be evicted. If Ashley and Vince are on the block, it's coming down to a 4-3 vote, with Ava being that swing vote. So, the day before, day 57, just a quick recap here. There was a push to evict Vince over even Mickey. However, that push faded when Ashley and Rachel found out that Mickey was promising Morgan that she would vote to keep Vince. And they were like, what is she doing? So they decided, screw her. She's done. We'll just vote her out against Vince. But obviously, they still needed the votes. If Ashley was on the block, Ashley had already put in a bunch of work with Ava. As soon as she went up on the block, Vince spent his time with Morgan and waited. And he waited and he waited and he waited until today, day 58, the day that we're talking about at the very least, to make his pitch. And so that's where we really start the day. Like, can Vince use all of the actual real dirt that he has on Rachel and to a smaller degree Ashley to try to flip Ava to his side? That is the question we must answer.
That is the question that we must answer. I truly don't understand Vince's game at all. There's like glimpses sometimes where I'm like, he could be really good. Like he seems to really understand it and knows what he needs to do. But then he's also just like so bad sometimes. This whole Morgan and Vince thing, I think, is destroying both of their games, honestly, like in the perception of the people in the houses, from the people in the house's perception. They're just spending like way too much time together. Especially Morgan is making it way too obvious of how close of allies they are, like literally saying he's my number one ally. And like, even if it's implied, you don't have to say it. And I think that's just, she's not helping Vince's game at all by doing that or helping to keep him this week. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yes, Rachel was doing a little mini spin class with Morgan yesterday, and she was like, "We gotta go. We gotta get to our people. Brendan and Vince."
That's crazy. Putting them on the same in the same category is wild.
They keep asking. She keeps. They keep getting, or Vince keeps getting questions about like, what do you think Kelsey's gonna think about the episode? It's just like they are all over this in the house. But Vince, of course, he's gonna make his campaign. He's gonna make his pitch to Ava. We've been again anticipating. Obviously, the whole thing over the weekend was how easy will it be to flip Ava, considering all of the pushing that Rachel and to a smaller degree Ashley have been doing against Ava, to the point where Ashley was actively campaigning for Ava to leave over Mickey before the renom even happened. Not to mention the fact that they've got Lauren, who is one of Ava's closest people. She's spending all this time with Lauren in the have not room this week. This shouldn't be that difficult. But he waited a very long time. Ashley is already deep in there now, convincing Ava that that she wants to work with Lauren too, and that this is a great little group that they have. Ava's been bonding more and more with Ashley, and Vince just doesn't really like. Vince has two modes. It's shit talking other people or talking game. I guess three modes. The other one is shit talking himself.
Gosh, the most
So
annoying mode.
yeah. So not a lot of like stuff to work with there. Finally makes his pitch to Ava, and it was about 10 minutes long.
No, it's so bad. Like, yeah. And then obviously we'll talk about what Ava thinks about it afterwards, but he just puts in no work. I feel like Vinny got close to some people in the very beginning of the game, and then everyone else he kind of just left to the wayside and doesn't work on those relationships with people. What I really admire about Ashley, especially seeing her this week, is that even though she truly should feel the most safe out of the three people on the block, she's still putting in the work to make sure that all of her relationships are intact and maintaining those things and keeping lines of communication open, even with people like Kelley that doesn't like her at all. And that's what you have to do. Like, you have to put in the work to make sure that the votes that even that you think you have are still there. So that's why it's crazy that Vince, knowing he needs to get to Ava, still isn't doing it. And like, even with what Ava said, I think it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, to Keanu, like, if Vince wants to talk to me, then he can talk to me. Like, not everyone else doesn't have to do it. And then for him to go and talk to her and it be this, not his best work.
Yeah, this was really bad. This is one of the worst campaigns of the entire season, which is saying a lot. He basically goes up to her saying, "Hey, I just want you to know that, even though I know Keanu wants me to stay, but I actually don't want him to stay. I'm not going to forget what he did to me. I'm putting up him and Kelley. Those are my targets." And we'd actually miss a chunk of this. It's so short that it's a good chunk of it. But she basically responds saying, "Listen, Vince, frankly, Ashley had my back last week. And, I just feel like best case scenario is that you win the blockbuster. Frankly, that's what I think. That's my opinion. That's what I think." He's, "Oh, okay." That was kind of it.
The problem with Vince too, when he talks to anybody about game, is, and I think this is actually the problem with a few different people this season, but Vince as well, he doesn't talk to them about how he's beneficial to them. Like, the fact that he's even on the block right now is because in the beginning
How
of the
could
week,
he?
well, he wasn't able to talk to Keanu about the fact that, like, why he shouldn't put him up. He just kept saying, like, "Please don't do this to me. Don't do this to me." And he does everything from like his vantage point. Like, he doesn't get into the head of the other person and make
Mhm.
them understand why they need him in the game versus someone else. So yeah, he clearly does not do a good job of that with Ava. And I think it would be hard for him to get Ava regardless,
He
but he
waited
still
way
didn't.
too long.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't do himself any favors.
I think that's a great observation, though, because I think it's completely correct. I think that Vince's ultimately biggest weakness in the game is that he is so focused on himself. Everything is about him. We see that when it comes to like when people cry in front of him, he makes it more about him than about them. When people talk game, when he talks game, you're right. He talks about it from his perspective. You can't do this to me. I've played for 10. I wanted to play for 10 years. You give me the veto, please, Catherine. Please, Morgan. You don't want me to go, do you? That would suck so much for me. And yeah, he never is able to like actively get inside the other person's head and think about it from their perspective. It's all about how do I get them to see my perspective, and my perspective is woe is me. And it just doesn't work on most people. It just doesn't. And so I also think that like the fact that he spent about 10 minutes trying to flip Ava and then basically gave up is such a perfect metaphor for Vince's game as a whole, on the whole, that he spent all of his time and effort this week into how can I screw over my own allies as much as possible in trying to get Morgan to use the veto on me by tricking her, instead of focusing on how do I actually branch out of the only people that do care about me to try to win other people over, try to get Ava on the block, or try to get Ava to vote for me to stay. Instead, he how do I use what I have? I know I have Morgan. How do I use her? And that's been his problem the whole game, is that he has pieces and then he's like, well, I can only use my pieces. I'm gonna sacrifice this one here and this one here, and it's just like, you have to talk to other people.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem too, is that he's always trying to take the hard route. And like, even now, he feels like, oh, I don't have Ava. That's it. I'm not going to work on it anymore. Instead, I'm going to get Mickey to feel like she can just throw the blockbuster to me. It's like, well, let's focus on the votes, because if that doesn't happen, then what? You know? So yeah, he's just always trying to do too much. And all he needs to do is talk to people and have like good, honest conversations with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the fact that Rachel was so openly against him for all of the season so far has been the best thing for Rachel, because he's done the least bad things to her, because he doesn't have her to use her up. So Ava talks to Lauren after the conversation with Vince, and she says, well, frankly, he just made my decision even easier. His pitch was detrimental to his ability to stay here. I definitely want him gone now, she says. There's, in particular, a thing that is really standing out to Ava, which is that when she talks to Lauren, Lauren is telling her, hey, Vinny's telling me, because he is, that he's going to target Rachel and Ashley. And to most other people in the house, he's telling them he's going to target Keanu and Kelley. And I believe, honestly, more so it's Keanu and Kelley than it is Rachel and Ashley at the moment. That's what he's telling Morgan. He's telling Morgan he's more mad at Keanu and Kelley. But he doesn't say that to Lauren because he's lying to Lauren, because he doesn't actually value Lauren or her game. And so when Lauren is telling Ava, yeah, he's telling me Rachel and Ashley, and then goes to Ava and says what seems to be a little bit more the truth, or at the very least, like leaning in that direction. I'm targeting Keanu and Kelley. Ava says, frankly, Lauren, he's either lying to me or he's lying to you. And I'd rather, if I'm being honest, frankly, I'd rather he be lying to me, because it's really scummy if he's lying to you. Yeah. And Lauren's like, yeah, like, this stupid Vince, what is he doing?
It's so bad. Like from Lauren's perspective, which Vinny obviously doesn't see, Vinny is her number one ally. Like, she's used the veto on you. She kept you over Zach, her showmans. And he still is not willing to tell her the truth. I just don't understand why. There's so many things he does that it just doesn't make sense. I can't even talk about it because I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, and so she's like best case scenario, he's just telling everyone what they want to hear, and that's super sketchy, Lauren. And Lauren's like, yeah, I need to tell him he needs to stop doing that. And Ava goes, frankly, Lauren, I love you, and this is just me being honest with you, but it's time for you to stop cleaning up that man's messes. Okay. Frankly, a tiger doesn't change its stripes. She's speaking facts to Lauren here.
Yeah, truly.
So this is really the gist of their conversation. The pitch to Ava has pushed her even more deeply into keeping Ashley. She's very locked in now in that direction. and it's just no good. Lauren goes up and talks to Kelley about it, of course, at the chess table, and she says, "Yeah, Ava's not going to vote to keep Vinny." And just in order to paint the picture here a little bit, they're cleaning or Kelley is cleaning the chess table, and so she's like viciously scrubbing it with like a paper towel or something, making very loud noise. Well, that's Vinny's fault.
Kelley is so over it.
Yeah.
Could not care less anymore.
She says, Lauren says, I think now that probably the only way at this point is, would Mickey vote to keep Vince? Maybe. And Kelley's just like, I mean, I don't know. She seems open. You know, she seems open. Okay, but I can't be the one to push that. It's not my place. And I'm not going to keep sticking my neck out for Vince.
I can't. It's so infuriating, like listening to her talk, and even the recap of you talking like her is like, just get it out. But yeah, it's like I just don't know with Lauren, because on one side I'm like, yeah, you're right. You probably shouldn't do anything to save Vince because he doesn't really care about you in the game that much. But she should want to, like, yeah, maybe overall Vince is not good for your game, but you also have no one else in the game. So you should try your best to do anything to help keep him. But she's just not willing to do anything. Like, even when she does like a little something, she's like, okay, I can't do anything else for the rest of the week. Like, that was my one thing for this week, and we're moving on to the next. And just, yeah, there's just nothing done to set anything up. And I've said this before, but like, this side of the house is so disconnected from each other and not active enough. So even though there could kind of be a split house, and I guess there kind of is two sides of the house, the side with like Lauren and Kelley and like Vince kind of, I guess, but I don't even know where Vince is, but that side with Lauren, Kelley, that's really it. Keanu. I don't know who else. Yeah, like that's it. They just don't move together, and they're not willing to like be active enough together and get on the same page, where the other side really is. Like, Rachel really is that glue holding, or maybe it's not even Rachel, but I don't know, like Rachel, Ashley. I mean, even if Mickey stays, she feels like she's on that side. Morgan, like, that's the group that's actually doing stuff. So this side is never going to get anywhere if they just don't get it together and really be willing to do something to save each other.
I mean, I think it's less about that even at this point, and more about just like, do anything, you know, like,
yeah,
if you're going to, you're right. If you're going to completely bury your head in the sand and only ever work with Vince and never talk to anybody else because they scare you too much, then yeah, you should probably be going harder to keep him, because who else are you going to talk to after this? Or maybe even better, take your head out of the sand and start talking to other people. Like, we're only 58 days in. Maybe you can have a one conversation with Will for the first time in 40 days. Like, I don't know, just a thought.
She can't do that. She's too scared of Will, even though he's the most like docile, nicest person, would not say a bad thing.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
So while this is happening, there are a few Vince Morgan interactions, of course. Of one of the ones that was making the rounds. Morgan is talking to Vince. She in the kitchen, and she's like, "Oh, let's go talk in my bed." I mean, on my bed. That sounded crazy. Sorry, Kelsey. And she's
like so aware of it in her head of what's going on. Like, the fact that she apologizes immediately to Kelsey, like, it's probably just always playing in her head, the Kelsey thing.
he goes, haha, she's gonna be, who's this Morgan girl? You guys shower together, spend all your time together. Uh, and Morgan's like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna kill her. No, no, no. And then he goes, oh, don't worry, Kelsey's like the least jealous person ever. Like that doesn't even exist in her, like at all. And she goes, oh, good. Thank God.
Yikes. You don't even have to be the most jealous person ever to get jealous about what's going on right now.
Yeah. And this is where it's just like, because we've been talking about, like, they know, right? We've been talking about, like, they know,
Right.
they know. And we basically got confirmation last night. They've been
Yeah.
asked about it in the diary room. So they definitely know. And so these
That's
comments become even more transparent to me, where it's
yeah.
like, oh, now we're talking about how Kelsey's not a jealous person because you're in the diary room explaining that it's human chemistry.
That's what's so crazy to me after last night's episode is you know what the perception is because the diary room is asking you questions about it and you're not changing anything. Like you're still having the long hugs and like almost cuddles in bed late at night. Like, wouldn't you? I would adapt. I'd be like, oh, wait, I don't want them to create this storyline,
But
especially if
that would
it's
be
not
admitting that they were
true.
doing something wrong in the first place.
Mm.
Instead, they're doubling down and saying, well, only a jealous person would have a problem with this.
Oh my gosh, I can't. It's like the worst thing ever. Human chemistry. Like what? The fact that he was able to pull that out of his head is like impressive.
There is also listen, you know, that they're late at night. There was some nuzzling. People think maybe a kiss happened, maybe a little peck. People aren't sure. So
Yeah, that clip did look a little suspicious. But I hope there was no kiss. Maybe it was like a kiss on the head, which still is like crazy, right?
mm-hmm. So they're still, you know, doing their thing. So in the meantime, Rachel has a conversation with Ava. Ava's now again fully locked in. They kind of like are reconfirming their bond with each other. They talk a little bit about their final two for the first time in like 2 weeks, and it's mostly through their mutual sort of distaste of Mickey, because Rachel is concerned about Mickey saying she's going to vote to keep Vince to Morgan, and Ava's like, she wouldn't do that, right? Rachel's like, no, I don't think she would. I hope.
Everyone bonds over their distrust of Mickey, and honestly, once she's gone, it's going to be interesting to see what they bond about next. But yeah, like everyone just, you can't trust anything Mickey said. I think especially it goes back to the week where Mickey was saying that she was going to keep, who was it? Zach over Morgan?
Riley. She said she was
Sorry.
going to vote to keep
Yeah.
Riley over Morgan,
Right.
and then didn't.
Right, didn't, but was very convincing about it. And so, yeah, now it's just like, who knows what that girl is going to do.
Mm-hmm. So they talk about that a little bit. Ashley also talks to Ava about Mickey, and they talk about how Mickey was telling Ashley that Ava was going to put her on the block on her HOH week, and then Mickey had to talk her out of it. And Ashley brings it up. So just to reset this a little bit, this Mickey told Ashley this the day before the veto ceremony. Day of the veto ceremony, Ashley talked more about it to Will because she mentioned it to him the night before as well. Will denied it, and she was like, Will, I saw your face when we talked about it first. I saw your face. I saw your face. But he kept adamantly denying it. And so then she kind of backed down and said, wow, I can't believe Mickey's doing all that. Knowing Ashley, I think there's a decent chance that she still believes this is true, but is just accepting the story being told to her publicly because that behooves her in this spot. She's not going to continue to press Will. And then in order to like even more lock in Ava, she approaches Ava by saying, Mickey, I can't. You're never gonna believe what she told me. I'll tell you later. Oh, I'll tell you now. That she told me this obvious lie that you were gonna put me up on your HOH, and that she had to talk you out of it. Classic Mickey. And Ava's just like, huh, yeah, no, yeah, totally. That's Mickey's bad.
Yeah. I really like this from Ashley too, because I think a lot of people try to do this when they're in a position of power where like they don't want to accept the truth. So they'll approach someone and be like, I know this is not true, but someone said this, that you said this. And usually it's like, don't lead the witness, right? Like don't tell them what you want to hear and then ask them the question of whether or not they did it. But from Ashley's, where Ashley is right now, she needs to make sure she has Ava's vote. So I think it's good to go into it like, I don't believe this, but listen to what the other person that could be on the block next to me said about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that there is some risk here. I think even bringing it up at all introduces a little bit of like discomfort, especially somebody like Ava who's not comfortable lying.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of risk there. But the other risk attached to this is, what if Mickey goes to Ava and says, hey, I told Ashley about how you were going to nominate her, and that she never brought it up to Ava. Like, that's also a risk. So ultimately you have to weigh those risks and go accordingly. Ava does talk to Will about this afterward and is like, oh my god, I feel so bad. And Will's like, just keep denying it.
Yeah.
She'll never know. She'll never know until she watches it back.
I'm dead. I love Will in this game. He's really like starting to get active and it makes my heart so happy.
So that's a bit of fun stuff there. There is more complaining about Mickey in general. Like the four, like Morgan talks to them, and Ava talks with Will and Ashley and Rachel about Mickey some more. And it's so funny because they talk about Mickey like she's like a computer virus. Like she infected our system, and she's been screwing us up this whole time, targeting Jimmy, doing all this stuff, trying to manipulate Ava. She's just constantly ruining what we're doing. And it really further highlights the parallels between Mickey and Vince, because they are exactly like, they're the same on both. Like, Vince is the anchor of the other side, and Mickey is the anchor of this side. And they're both the two people that are going to leave tonight, very likely, one or the other. And it's like both sides are okay with this and not fighting very hard to keep them, because they both sides recognize that both of them are detriments to their sides.
Yeah, that's a crazy position to be in, and to not even realize that you're in that position. Like, at least Vinny kind of knows, or Vinny does know, like his side tells him, especially Keanu. But I feel like Mickey doesn't really realize how in danger she is. It's going to be interesting if she goes tonight to
A
see.
true blind side, Will says. Yes. So we did have a cute little moment from Rachel, who continues to do some studying with her cough drops. And she's doing like some rapid fire, asking herself questions, and being like, I know these young newbies are studying too, but are they doing it with cough drops? I don't think so. It's like, no, yeah, they got M&Ms.
I can't.
And she's like, man, I hope you live feeders still like me. And everyone loved that little comment. Rachel having a grand old time yesterday, apart from the fear that Mickey was going to flip.
Yeah, love to see it. Love Rachel being happy. She also, though, says how scared she is to survive 7 more evictions, which understandably.
So the other story through the day is, weirdly, Kelley, who has a whole journey today where she is on a mission to flip the vote against Ashley, not next to Vince, but next to Mickey. That she wants to flip the vote to get rid of Ashley when she's up against Mickey. Keep Mickey, get rid of Ashley. That's the goal for Kelley. She thinks she can do it because she thinks that all she will need, and theoretically this is true, is Lauren, herself, Vince, and Morgan. That's 4 votes. That's done. That's a done deal. And Morgan has been very approachable. Morgan has been talking to her a lot lately. Morgan is all about oh, I love Kelley now. And so she really feels like she can get Morgan's vote. She's been trying. She tries to talk to Morgan about it, but Morgan is like, I don't want to keep Mickey around. I really don't want to do that. So she's trying to find out a way to convince Morgan. She hasn't even convinced Keanu yet, though, because Keanu still also wants Mickey gone over Ashley. This is really a one-person thing. It's Kelley wants this, and she's trying to find anybody who will bite. Of course, it's Vince who tells her what she wants to hear, or maybe actually does want Ashley gone over Mickey. He does seem to pitch it to Lauren and Morgan later, so it seems like he actually was kind of into this idea. And she also finally gets Keanu on board by arguing the anti-Rachel stuff. And Keanu starts to think, okay, you know what? Maybe we should get rid of Ashley over Mickey. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some momentum starts to build for this. Kelley's actually making some progress. The problem still is Morgan, who really does not want to do this. She's obviously aligned with the judges and hates Mickey. So that's going to be a huge problem for them. But then it gets even worse when they approach Lauren about it. And Lauren's not really into the idea. Vince tries to approach Lauren about it. And she's like, honestly, I don't want Ashley to go. And so even Lauren is shutting this down. And with Lauren and Morgan both not on board, it's nowhere close to being complete, and the plan dies. But I figured I'd bring it up because that was Kelley's entire day.
Yeah, I also feel like it might come up again in the near future, in weeks to come, because she was very just loose-lipped about this, talking to as many people as she could. So yeah, I feel like it could get back around to Ashley, Rachel, and they have a real reason to target Kelley now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rachel even earlier in the day was like, I feel like Kelley's been more tolerable lately. She hasn't been doing anything wild lately. She's so hot and cold sometimes. And it's like, yeah, just wait until you hear what she's been up to.
Yes, I can't.
So that's happening. There's a bit more of a Lauren subplot in the night. On multiple levels. She's trying on Rachel's dress, but she's too scared to ask Rachel if she can actually wear it, which is a whole thing. And then also the subplot of trying to convince Mickey that she's safe so that she'll throw the blockbuster, which again, just shouldn't work, shouldn't happen, feels very unlikely, is still on, especially from Vince. And he really wants everyone to be working in conjunction to convince Mickey that she has the votes. But when Mickey talked to Lauren, she could not figure out how to lie. And so there's this whole thing where Lauren's like, I don't know how to say to her. And they're trying to pump her up about no, you just need to lie. You just need to lie to Mickey. She's like, I don't know. And it's actually a whole big thing over the course of the night. And Mickey catches them talking to Lauren, and then Morgan needs to warn Lauren, we had to lie and say that we were talking about something else. So if she questions you about it, you have to say this. It's a whole thing.
No, Lauren is probably trying to run out of that house at this point. It's crazy. She's just not built for this kind of game. And not that I think she even needs to be. I don't even think this is very necessary. It's already not in her character to lie. And she talks to Vince about she's thus far played a very honest game, and that's how she's gotten by. So yeah, she's just, I think them pushing her, especially in the one conversation with Vince where he was like, you need to do it. You just have to do it. This is the game. This is Big Brother. We can pin it on Kelley and say that you can actually vote for Mickey to stay and then we pin the vote on Kelley. Like, it was just too much for something that like probably is not going to work anyway. So why push her to do this that much? But I felt like even in Lauren's conversation with Mickey in their one-on-one, it was almost like Mickey was trying to push it to her too, because Mickey had said something about like, like maybe I could go a little bit easier on the blockbuster, but I just would need to guarantee that I have the votes. And still, like, Lauren just can't confirm.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just like, okay, then don't lie, but use this as an opportunity. If Mickey does stay, be the one person that was telling her the truth about the vote. And if she ever finds out that she was in trouble, she'll remember Lauren is the one person that wasn't lying to me. And then maybe you can even tell her, hey, they were all pushing me so hard to tell me to lie to you, and I just couldn't do it. Like something. You just need any connection here. Yeah. Especially because Vince will be gone if Mickey's still in the house. So that's really the day. As things stand, everything is the same. Mickey will leave if she does not win the blockbuster tonight. If she does, it is very likely that Vince leaves. There's still, I would say, a small chance that Mickey actually does vote out Ashley. It would be incredibly wild. She hasn't done any actual groundwork to make that move. She hasn't like made any formal deals about it. She's promised to the world and back Ashley in that group that she wouldn't. She's only vaguely offered deals to everyone else pretty much. It seems very likely that she will go in this direction. Then there's, of course, the other small chance that she actually would throw the blockbuster, which would be absolutely incredibly dumb. Obviously, I don't think she'll do that either, even if she intended to. Most people don't after they intend to, like Keanu talked about this. She's not talking about it nearly to the degree that Keanu was. She also did tell Ashley she's gunning for the blockbuster. So I think, again, very likely we are looking at a Vince eviction if Mickey wins the blockbuster, and Mickey will likely be trying to win the blockbuster. But that is where things stand going into tonight's eviction.
Yeah. I'm excited about where we stand tonight. I'm just hoping my Ashley is safe because I just love her so much, and I think she's doing really good in the game right now. So I'd like to see her do a little bit more.
Yes. That Ashley should be safe regardless. Now, theoretically, there is a little bit of time before the eviction, so things could change over the course of the day today. But given that they haven't even like really remotely changed over the last 2 full days, it seems unlikely that something would happen today. Maybe there's a last minute push. Maybe Keanu gets back involved. For as much as Keanu is bad at this game, he is better than Vince when it comes to campaigning for things. He made a lot more progress with Ava than Vince ever could. If Keanu gets back involved, maybe something else happens. Keanu can still spill that dirt on Rachel. The whole alliance thing still hasn't even come up. The fact that Rachel pitched an alliance to keep Ashley off the block. So there's all kinds of stuff there. But either way, we're heading into tonight's eviction. It should be a relatively exciting one. Again, very likely losing Mickey or Vince, 2 people who, would certainly have built up their own position to be in this spot of the final pre-juror. And yeah, that's what we'll be looking for. I'll be live tonight, Twitch and YouTube, to watch the episode. I'm also now live on Patreon, on my Patreon, where I've got the episode up as well. So you can check that out. We'll be live after the podcast to recap it all here on the podcast. And tomorrow, I should be speaking to one of the evictees, either Vince or Mickey, very likely. And then we'll have an update after that as well. So stay tuned for all of it. Make sure you check out my book, Behind the Mirror. You can pre-order it at taranarmstrong.com. And QT, anything else that you wanted to bring up from yesterday?
No, I don't think so. I think we've said as much as we could about what's going on. Nothing too crazy going on. And there's not a double tonight, right? Like, we know for pretty sure. Okay.
I
Cool.
think they may announce one, or at the very
Right.
least, they're announcing that the blockbuster is probably ending. They said
Mm.
that the mastermind was going to have a dastardly decree or something like that last night.
Okay,
So,
period. We love the
yeah.
mastermind. Yeah, that's really it. You can find me everywhere at Corey Tyler, QUORITYLER.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.